You're listening to Trucking Tomorrow, your go-to podcast for exploring and understanding the future of trucking from a carrier's perspective. In each episode, we sit down with industry veterans to discuss what it takes to grow your trucking company in today's world. So let's hit the road with Trucking Tomorrow. Here's your host, Brian Jones.
Welcome to Trucking Tomorrow. I'm your host, Brian Jones. I'm joined today by Ben Thompson, the president of 107 HOTSHOT. Ben, really grateful to have you on the show. Welcome to Trucking Tomorrow.
Thank you, sir. Excited to be here and be a part of your podcast.
Awesome. Well, Ben, I know 107 HOTSHOT, you guys have a unique business model, right? You guys do primarily HOTSHOT, work with a lot of owner ops, have unique programs, about 150 drivers. So pretty significant operation there. Could you just give a bit of a background on what you guys do and how you fit in as a trucking company?
Sure. So we're 150 drivers strong. Right now, to be honest, 2025 is a pretty exciting prospect for us. We've got about 40 guys in the hopper right now. We're continuing to grow and to build, and we're pretty excited about that. But, we're about maybe 60% of our drivers are non-CDL. HOTSHOT drivers, most pulling a 3/4 ton or a 1-ton truck with a 40-foot trailer. The balance of our guys, we have a lot of CDL HOTSHOT drivers, and then we do also have some step deck and flatbed semi drivers in the mix as well. But about 150 total trucks and continuing to grow.
Awesome. Very cool. And obviously unique operation, especially at that scale, right? It's a pretty large HOTSHOT operation for all those parts. Could you just share a little bit of why you've chosen to focus on that segment and really differentiate there?
Well, for us, there's a few strategic things under the HOTSHOT trucking deal, but I want to tell you kind of my story of how I got started in trucking was, I had a business that a partner that I trusted and loved embezzled several $1,000,000 and put me in a really bad spot. And so I started my company up, me as the very first driver. And it was just at that point in time, desperation, trying to keep my family fed, trying to keep my family afloat. So I started off as a non-CDL driver myself. And, I borrowed $5,000 from my mom. I bought a 99 Ford truck that leaked oil and smoked all over the place and had a rusty old trailer that I had to rewire myself. That's all I could do to get started. Right. So I've always kind of, as we've grown the business and become more and more successful, I've always kind of had a soft spot for the guys that are out there trying to make a living for their family and trying to get started and trying to start a new business. And for us, it's a real strategic play because these guys out there, everybody's hiring. Every trucking company on earth is running, it's hiring. Who's not hiring right now, right? So for us, we're looking at guys that may not have a lot of other options. We bring in guys with pretty low experience. We train, we do a lot of mentoring, coaching, teaching, training. We go through a complete safety program, non-CDL or CDL. We put them all through a training program. Yeah. And for us, it's a way to get, again, we have to be somewhat selective. Every person who applies can't be part. But we take a lot of guys with low experience, and that's a strategic advantage because it helps us keep our trucks full of drivers and keeps a lot of guys out there on the road that, are excited to be building their own business. So that's kind of, I guess that's kind of the reason we're in the HOTSHOT business that we're in.
Cool. I know a lot of our audience, they're fleet owners that run semis, right? They may not have the same focus that you guys run. How does that influence the customers that you work with, the freight that you haul, where you guys operate? Just love to hear for folks who may not be active in the HOTSHOT side of things.
Well, to be honest with you, one thing we like about HOTSHOT trucking is the lower cost of maintenance on the trucks. It costs less money to fix a F-150, F-250, F-350 than it does to fix a semi truck, right? So there's a whole different maintenance and cost structure to it. Fuel is another thing that, while fuel is expensive for everyone, just have a different level of consumption in terms of the fuel on a smaller truck. For us, we're running lighter loads, and it's really traditional flatbed freight, right? I mean, we run a lot of industrial components. We run a lot of agricultural equipment. We run lighter loads of lumber. We run steel. We run pipe. We do some oil field stuff. I mean, we're really involved in what I call just traditional flatbed freight, but on a smaller scale. And it's usually stuff that's expedited. The customer needs it right now. Wherever it needs to go, it needs to be there right now. And our trucks earn on a similar basis. We do run some semis too. So I can tell you, we're constantly looking at our rates. There's not a huge amount of variation between our hotshot drivers and our semi drivers. So it's a very consistent model. And there is a lot of freight out there on the hotshot trucks that, again, we don't look for hotshot freight. We look for flatbed freight that will fit into a hotshot truck.
Interesting. How does that go in terms of booking that? Are there any challenges or expectation setting around that, or is that kind of generally understood? If someone posts it, they don't really care what type of truck is hauling it.
Well, it's a good point you're bringing up because early on it was a little bit more difficult to sell. When you talk to a broker or a shipper and you say, "Well, I have a driver coming in with a hot shot," you kind of get the skeptical eye on hot shot drivers, and there was a stigma early on, and that goes back. And we've been in this since 2012, and it goes back a ways. To be honest, hot shot trucking's become a fast growing segment of the trucking game, and a lot of people now don't even question it at all. You say, "I'm sending a hot shot truck in," they know that it fits the criteria. Happy to have the truck. So we don't have much pushback anymore the way it used to be.
Awesome, cool. Well, I know you touched on a little bit of how you got started, right? Driving your own truck. I think you mentioned your wife was dispatching at the beginning. Could you walk me through your growth? Like, when did you start hiring other drivers? I know you have some of your own trucks in addition to owner operators. Like, I would love to just hear how you went from you as the one driver to 150 drivers today.
So that's a great point. And I started off, like I say, it was kind of a desperation play for me early on, and you just had to learn as you went. My wife was learning too. She was my dispatcher. Once we kind of got the biggest thing we started off, because we've been in business before and other things. I owned a automotive company. And one thing you figure out is taking care of your customers is the most important thing you can ever do. You have to have a reputation to build any business. Doesn't matter if you're, running a fast food restaurant, if you're running a trucking company, anything in between. Your reputation is the main thing you're going to build on. So starting off early on, making sure that we had perfect safety records. I mean, just really, really working hard to make sure everything is done right, done professionally. Even if I am driving a 99 Ford truck that's smoking and leaking oil, we make sure everything is being done the right way. And then as we got kind of poised for growth, to be honest, I took out a loan and bought 9 more trucks, better trucks, and some brand new trailers. And that was kind of like the catalyst. I'm going to take out a loan. I'm going to hire some drivers. I'm going to take this MC authority that I've been nurturing and I've been building, and I'm going to put some drivers in the seat. And that was piece of our growth. We learned a lot of lessons along the way. We do still have assets, but we learned that having some drivers out there with skin in the game is a really, really good thing. Guys that care, guys that have a reason to get up and go to work every day and take care of their equipment because they're vested in it. And so we started looking at bringing awesome guys as owner operators. Now, one thing I say, my partner, Marty Mercer, is our chief operating officer, runs the day-to-day operations now, was one of my first drivers. And I will tell you, there was a few weeks in there where, we had such lean weeks. It was a Christmas week. We had $300 in total revenue, and me and Marty split it so both our families could have groceries for Christmas, right? That's how tough it was. So now, and I met Marty in trucking. The business brought us together, right? He was a driver early on, looking to take care of his family. Same thing as me, just trying to get out there and make a living. And he was a fire chief who had, an accident and so forth, and had to change his career. Now, my best friend on earth. And so we've kind of, it's almost like it's become a family business, and everything around it is our families. My wife, Jackie, is our CFO. He's got, a couple sons and a daughter in the business. Clay Mercer is our executive vice president, Caden, Cammie. So it's become a family business, and we're proud of all of our, family. But really, to have the business we've got, we went out and hired a lot of really top talent guys. As we've grown, you realize you outgrow what you can do yourself and what you can do in your family, right? You have to go out and attract some really great talent. Kenny Mox runs our maintenance program, does a phenomenal job. Easton Smith, Tyler Jenkins, these are the 2 guys that run our whole dispatch operations. And we're talking about dispatching $30 million a year in freight off of these 2 guys and the teams that they manage. So it's grown from, a couple guys out there in trucks to that type of operation. Josh Hartman runs our safety department. I'll tell you right now, I'd put him up against any safety director running 500 trucks in the country. I'd put him up against it. So, Ben Walden is our business development leader. He's out there recruiting and training drivers. So we've just built a team of guys around us that, that's the secret to success is take care of your customers from the very first day. It doesn't matter if you're a 1-truck fleet or 500 trucks. Your customers and your reputation is what's going to build you, and then surround yourself with great people. And that's what we've tried to do.
Awesome. Well, it sounds like you've really grown from just you and your wife starting out into serious programs, right? You have people, it's a family business, you have people and structures and processes, multiple programs that you have drivers coming into. Did you know this is where you were headed from the very beginning? Was there a certain point in time where you thought, okay, this is where we need to go and that's how it's going to fit together? Or was it really one day at a time and you can tell the story looking back, but not looking forward?
Well, that's a great question too. And honestly, the only thing I would say to, in that I already own a business where I scaled it. I started a automotive repair shop with
Mhm.
one shop. And, I started off with a couple $1,000 in a lease and started building that. And then I wound up, buying some properties and over a course of time, built it up to
Yeah.
a very successful business before the embezzlement scandal that destroyed it. But I was really already the type of guy that, after you've got the bug where you've already built a successful business, you know, I'm kind of like an empire builder, right? I'm going to go in there and I'm going to be the driver and I'm out there and drive an old beat up truck. But my goal is to build a company, right? So that was my aspiration. But I got to tell you, there's been a lot of learnings along the path. While you can set your sights on, hey, I want to have 150 and 200 and 300 trucks, you're learning no matter how much you think coming in. So to me, the core piece is take care of those customers, build a reputation, run a safe operation, hire the right people. But there's still a lot of things that you learn along the path that just kind of helps you get stronger and stronger and better and better. And a lot of our programs we've tweaked and tweaked and tweaked, as you said. Our dispatch team, I think that's where the magic really happens. We've got a group of guys that I tell you, we had going through the COVID years, through all the crisis of COVID. I couldn't run them guys off. I mean, they'd be in there sick as a dog with oxygen, but they're not going to leave their post, right? I mean, we just got some great guys that no matter what, they stick it out and they work hard. And they know on the other end of that dispatch, there's a driver out there trying to make a living for their family. And so everybody's in this thing together trying to figure out how do we continue to grow and build and make sure everybody's successful here. And, I think it's a great culture. But, we incentivize our guys, and so everybody's tied into our performance. Everybody's driving hard to be successful, and it's kind of like a giant partnership almost, right? Because we pay the guys well, but honestly, they're incentivized, and they are all laser focused on the achieving the next level and being successful, and making sure that the drivers, again, it's the back end team that's trying to make sure that every driver has a chance to be successful. I think a lot of times you see companies out there that the driver is the afterthought, right? For us, because I was in a truck, my partner Marty was in a truck, we came up in this business out there, snow and ice, crawling under a trailer, trying to rewire it in the snow kind of thing. We come up from being a driver in the hardest situations. So we're pretty, we're pretty focused on whatever it takes to give the drivers a good experience. We don't make our drivers sign some kind of crazy contract. Our deal is we want to earn your trust in your business every single day. I want you to be a driver here, not because I got some kind of crazy contract that you didn't read the fine print. I want you to be a driver here because it's the best place you could work and you could never want to go somewhere else. I don't care. I don't need to lock you into something. I want you to want to be here. And that's what we try to do.
Awesome. And you mentioned that lessons learned along the way. Been in business for over 10 years now. You've seen some cycles, you've seen different, good times and bad times, I can imagine. Curious if any examples of those lessons learned or the most challenging moments or craziest experience. You probably got some more stories under your belt here at this point. So Yeah.
I don't even know where to begin because I've got a lot of things we've learned, the hard lessons. I tell you the hardest things we've ever dealt with, and this is, nobody should have to talk about this. We've had a driver pass away from a heart attack driving down the road, uh, having to go to his, widow that has been married for 25 years, and we have to be the ones to go and notify them of what happened. Those are the hard times, that the hardest lessons learned of making sure that you've got people's correct contact information, how to reach their families. So, I mean, there's things like that, you know, ice storms, guys get stuck out there trying hard to get, to the next stop, whatever. And you just have guys out there really doing things that shouldn't never be done, but they're out there trying to be the brave warrior for you. End of the day, the truck's upside down in a ditch. You got a cargo issue. You got upset shippers. So we've dealt with some of those things. I mean, for me, the biggest thing is have integrity, have transparency, do the right thing for your customer, do the right thing for your drivers. No shipper wants to be told there's going to be a delay, but they would rather it get there safely and not be upside down in a ditch somewhere, right? You don't want to put people in a bad spot. So we've learned some of those types of lessons that are hard to learn. At this point in time, when I hire drivers, and I put out a new training video here, I don't know, a few months ago. I can't be there when they onboard every driver, so we make sure we have a training video. But one of the first things I say on that, we are not running outlaw trucking at HOTSHOT 107. This ain't the old days of run 3 sets of log books and, do whatever. There is no outlaw trucking here. You're going to do it the right way because it's what's safe for you. I want my, wife and kid and my mom to be safe on the road, knowing that other motorists are following rules and doing things the right way. So we are big proponents of, reducing regulations in trucking because they smother you with so many regulations. But we are definitely all about running a safe operation, doing things the right way, not trying to cut corners and so those, I could go on and on and on about things that we figured out along the path, but for us, it's no outlaw trucking and no funny business. Just play it straight and do it the right way.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. At the end of the day, you need to be around for the long term to really build a sustainable company here. I'm curious on the other side of what you're most proud of what you've accomplished, right? I know you help guys get started, guys and gals get started. You mentioned, we've talked about how you help folks get more trucks, grow into small fleet owners, build their own businesses. What are your most proud moments in the last 10 or 12 years in building HotShot 107?
Yeah, I think a couple things. I think the culture of what we're trying to build. I mean, honestly, we put a lot of, swag out there, if you want to call it that, hats and jackets and shirts and whatever with HotShot 107. We got guys going and getting HotShot 107 tattooed on their arms and on their legs. We got guys wearing our swag, and we love that because guys want to be a part of our company, right? Yeah. And so the guys that work in the office, the guys that drive trucks, they love being a part of it because we want to make this feel like it's all family and we're all here to be successful together. And, the drivers are important. Our team is important. So for us, that's something I'm really, really proud of is having a culture where we care about each other and we try to do things the right way. The other part, you touched on this, we bring on guys that wouldn't be able to probably start somewhere else. And that's a strategic advantage for us. We about 60% of our guys are non-CDL. We started, this is another kind of thing I'm proud of. We started off and I got nothing bad to say about the trailer manufacturers all across America. I got some really, really great friends at Big Techs. They built a great trailer. I have nothing bad to say. I bought a bunch of Gator made trailers myself. Great guys over there. I have not one thing bad to say. But, we started having issues with lighter duty trailers, not holding up. We need a certain trailer with a certain spec built specifically for HotShot trucking. And a lot of what you see out there on gooseneck trailers is really made to haul a bulldozer on, or haul equipment, and they're made to go 40 miles across town and you're hauling a loader or, whatever. Mm-hmm. We wanted something that would be hold up for over the road trucking. You got to have the right wheels and tires. You got to have the right axles, but it also has to be a lighter weight construction so that you got, greater capacity to work off of. So we worked with Striker Trailers, Stuart Compton over at Striker Trailers, and we built a HOTSHOT 107 specific trailer that we designed and spec'd out specific for the HOTSHOT business. And I think, we're pioneers in creating a trailer that is designed for a non-CDL guy to be able to put maximum capacity in terms of a shipping capacity and have a safe over the road trailer. And that's allowed us to go out and hire guys that wouldn't have the opportunity to maybe work somewhere else. And by the way, regardless of credit, if you're an owner operator and you have a pickup truck, we'll put you in a trailer. We build it to spec and we'll put you in it. No money down and no credit necessary, or low money down. We're all about kind of being an incubator for guys who are, and again, we got to qualify people a little bit, but we're looking for guys that are hardworking guys with a great attitude who want to go out there and run their business. And they're just trying to get somebody to bet on them and give them a chance to get started. Cause that's where I came from. I'm pretty proud of that because we're doing something that's unique that nobody else is doing. You can search the world over. You don't find a trailer program like we have. It's custom spec for the HOTSHOT business. We match them up to CDL or non-CDL drivers, depending on, who's coming on. We match the equipment up. We make sure that the GVWR is correct and matches up to their equipment.
Yep.
And, they don't need a lot of money to get started and they don't need a lot of experience. They need a great attitude and they need a good work ethic. And we'll teach you everything else you need to know. And that's something unique, I think,
Yeah, I mean, you built a unique owner operator program, right? And there's different elements to it. And I love how one thing we talked about before is how there's different programs or milestones along the way. So it's not just a one size fits all, but it's actually career growth. And so could you just share how you think about that, different program offerings for non-CDL, for CDL, for guys that are wanting to grow their fleet? What does that, total offering look like? And how do you think about how that fits together?
Sure. So a lot of guys, one of the things that we offer is literally, it's the trailer, it's financing, that's guaranteed financing. It's training and development. And that's for a one truck guy who's just trying to get started. And as you get some experience and as you get going, and we coach them, hey, set aside some money. You need to set aside maintenance money. You need to set aside you never know what's coming up that's going to be some catastrophic issue that you're going to need to set aside some cash. So we coach them on how to be a business owner, not just to be a truck driver, how to be a business owner, how to be a successful, entrepreneur and a successful owner operator. And as they grow, of course, we're putting them on our insurance. So a lot of guys couldn't even really get started with their own insurance. So we're putting them on our MC, our insurance. As they start to grow, we got guys who'll come to us and go, man, I love working here, but I feel like I need to take the next step. And I want to have my own MC authority. We have a program where we basically offer our safety and our dispatch services to them, and we assist them to get their own MC set up. So we got a lot of guys working here actually that started off as a one truck operator. Now there's 5 trucks. We dispatch the freight for them. We help them manage their safety. We help them manage their company, but now they're entrepreneurs and they're growing and they're building a fleet. And so now they're fleet owners. And, we got guys out there with 20 trucks and beyond that started off, with a one truck guy. So again, it's kind of like that incubator deal where we're pretty proud of the fact you come on board with us, you do a good job, you got a good work ethic, you want to grow your business. We are here to help you. We're your partners, and we're your partners, in various different stages of that all the way through. Because we feel like we have something really, really special to offer just in the standpoint of handling safety and dispatch. I mean, that's something a lot of guys, even as they do start to build their own fleet, what makes us successful is, as I was mentioned to you before, we've got a safety manager, Kenny Mox. We got Josh Hartman in safety. Everybody doesn't have that. And you can't afford to go get the top talent safety and maintenance managers for a 5 truck fleet. But working with us, we can help you do all that. Right. So for me, that's a big thing that we're trying to help guys kind of build their business.
And I know most of the business is owner ops, right? You work with, training folks up. There's a lot of coaching involved, but you still have some of your own assets, right? And you also do have some semis as well, but not many. What's the reason for the mix? What's the role of your own assets? What's the role of the handful of semis that you guys have? Like, why some diversification there?
Well, that's a great question. And to be honest with you, the big thing for us as an entrepreneur and a business owner is how do you use those assets to the best strategic alignment, right? With your overall plan. We like owner operators because they have skin in the game. Even if we build the trailer and finance it to them, we love to have guys with some skin in the game. They tend to take better care of their equipment. They have more concern about making sure everything is, maintained and done the right way. For us, I started off buying 9 trucks early on, and we've always had some assets all the way through since 2012. We've always kept some assets. One of the things we use the assets for, we do have a couple guys that, work for us that are really company drivers, and we use them as kind of a rescue squad. With 150 trucks on the road, one of the things for us that's so important is that level of customer service for those shippers and brokers. If we ever have a truck break down out there, we're not going to be held at the mercy of who we can find. We send a guy out to go rescue the load and take care of it so that our brokers and our shippers know we're going to make good on any commitment we made. If we made a commitment to have it there on Tuesday at noon, it's going to be there Tuesday at noon. So we use our assets to kind of be the stopgap to make sure customer service is really impeccable. But really the bigger reason that we got these assets is because we're so vested in our owner operators. We have a guy with a great work ethic, great attitude, hard working, hard charging guy, truck breaks down. Now, the guy's got to go out of business. His family is home waiting on a paycheck. They got to eat, wife needs, to go get her hair done and get a manicure. Everybody needs money to live. What are you going to do to keep those guys from going under with a catastrophic failure? We help them through that. We have our own shop operations. Brandon Shaver runs our shop, does a phenomenal job. We built the shop from scratch, by the way, as we've continued to grow. That was definitely something that was kind of not on the radar early on, but now we offer, discount repair services to our drivers where we probably about half what the industry would charge. And then secondly, we put them in a truck that's a company asset, keep them moving, pay them a percentage off what they're earning to keep them moving while we're in the process of helping them repair their own assets. And so for us, it's a real strategic play, helping keep our drivers on the road. We get drivers that have a lot of loyalty to us because they know anywhere else you worked, your truck broke down, you're pretty much out of work. Well, we try to make sure those guys know we're here. It's like a family. We're here to try to help you be successful and make sure your family's counting on you. We want you to stay out there and keep making money.
Yeah, I love that. What this comes down to, we talk about this a lot on the show, is focus, finding your niche, and like what business are you really in? And I love the clarity around that. You're in the business of HOTSHOT trucking, working with newer guys, making sure that it's successful, and you orient everything about what you do around that, right? And there's a role for assets in that, but it's a unique role in that regard.
That's right.
Awesome. Well, I know we're on Trucking Tomorrow. You like to think about the future. When you think about the remainder of 2025 going into the new year, what are your top priorities for 2025?
I think it's continuing to build growth in, I guess, a couple segments, right? Number one, we're continuing to recruit drivers. We're excited about continuing to build the fleet. I was telling you early on that 2025 is looking really, really promising. We got a lot of new interest, a lot of enthusiasm, and we're excited about that. To me, the economy my outlook is good. I think America's outlook is good right now. I don't want to get into politics, but let's just say the outlook is good. We're pretty excited about where 2025 is shaping up to go. But also for us, the second component of that is, we continue to look for opportunities for, good freight and to continue to find, better lanes that we can be a part of. And so we got guys working on that piece as well. We have a big part of our company is focused on operating the trucks, maintaining the trucks, the safety component. But then the second component is we got to continue to find the best freight out there, because one of the things our drivers, need and expect, you come on with a company, you got to have good freight, and that's what pays the bills. So we've got some really, really great customers out there. We've got some great freight, but we're continuing as we build growth. That's another component that we're looking at right now.
Awesome. Well, Ben, thank you again for jumping on the show with me. Ben Thompson, HotShot 107. Thanks again.
Thanks for having me here. Have a good one.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Trucking Tomorrow. The show notes include links to any resources mentioned in today's show. And if you enjoyed our podcast, please subscribe so you never miss an episode and leave us a 5-star review.
Truck base, you're always tough.